At just 14, Kevin Sullivan signed with Manchester City. At 16, Lamine Yamal lit up the Euros. And by 18, Ethan Holiday might go first in the MLB draft, just like his brother. They weren't just born to play, they were born into billion-dollar expectations. From Bronny James chasing greatness to Shedeur Sanders building his own empire, these aren't just athletes, they're legacies in motion. In this video, we're looking at the next generation of sports royalty, who they are, how they're built, and what makes them different. Some will rise, some will fall. Let's begin. Growing up with a famous last name in sports is like being born into a spotlight you never asked for. You're not just competing, you're compared. Constantly. Take Bronny James. Being the son of LeBron James means every dunk, every missed shot, every breath is scrutinized. At USC, he wasn't just a freshman, he was LeBron's son. That shadow weighs heavy, especially when draft expectations collide with health setbacks and media noise. Or look at Shedeur Sanders, the star quarterback coached by his own father, NFL legend Deion Sanders. From Jackson State to Colorado, Shedeur's journey has been under constant watch. When he declared for the NFL draft, analysts didn't just critique his tape. They questioned if he was truly ready or just writing a name. And then there's Frank Gore Jr., pounding the field like his father, but constantly being asked, can he be that Gore? Legacy is both fuel and fire. It opens doors, sure, but it also raises the bar impossibly high. The expectations aren't normal, the pressure isn't fair. But for some of these kids, it's not about escaping the legacy. It's about owning it. What happens when football royalty tries to make their own mark? You're about to meet the heirs to the NFL throne. If there's one sport where legacy hits the hardest, it's football. The physicality, the fame, the fathers in the Hall of Fame. And now their sons are knocking on the door with pads, pedigree, and something to prove. At the front of that line is Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State wide receiver, projected top NFL pick, and son of Colts legend Marvin Harrison. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't need to. His route running is surgical, his hands are elite, and his mindset is all business. He wears the name proudly, but plays like he's chasing something bigger than comparisons. Then there's Frank Gore Jr., carving his own lane at Southern Miss. He's got his father's vision, the same relentless motor, and a chip on his shoulder the size of Miami. Every time he breaks a tackle, it's like he's saying, I'm not just my father's son, I'm my own man. You've also got names like Jalen Harrell, Michigan linebacker, Javon Foster, Missouri, and Jordan Whittington, Texas. All sons of former NFL linemen and wideouts. They don't get the same headlines, but scouts are watching. Because sometimes legacy moves in silence. These aren't kids playing daddy's game. They're prospects built from NFL DNA, molded by pressure and raised to expect greatness. For them, Sundays were never just football. They were family business. But what happens when the baseball diamond starts filling up with second-generation stars too? The next class of Major League talent is bringing more than a glove. They're bringing bloodline power. Baseball bloodlines. In baseball, legacy isn't just a talking point, it's a scouting tool. Scouts don't just ask for speed and swing mechanics anymore. They ask, who's your dad? Meet Ethan Holiday. His father, Matt Holliday, was a 7-time MLB All-Star and World Series champion. But Ethan, he's outpacing the family blueprint. At just 16, he's already projected as the number one pick in the 2025 MLB draft. He's signed with Adidas, has a social media following in the six figures, and hits like a man twice his age. Some say he's even ahead of his older brother, Jackson Holliday, who's already a top MLB prospect. The Holliday name is becoming its own dynasty, and Ethan is the crown jewel. Then there's James Wood, son of former pro hooper Kenny Wood, but now one of baseball's most electrifying young outfielders. At 6 feet 6 inches, he blends basketball athleticism with insane baseball instincts. Scouts are calling him a Giancarlo Stanton prototype, but faster. You also have rising names like Kaysen Cunningham, a high school shortstop already making waves in MLB mock drafts. He doesn't come from a Hall of Fame bloodline, but his raw talent is earning him comparisons to players who did. And that's the twist. Baseball legacy can be passed through genes, but it's polished by pressure. The batting cages, the road trips, the constant grind, it either forges you or breaks you. But for players like Ethan, Jackson, and James, it's not about filling their father's cleats. It's about making the cleats bigger, louder, and more dangerous than ever before. So what happens when you take that same bloodline energy and move it onto the global stage? The next generation of soccer superstars aren't just skilled. They're young, viral, and already signing multi-million euro deals before they're old enough to drive. In the world's most popular sport, greatness is arriving younger than ever. These rising stars didn't just dream of going pro, they signed the contracts before they even finished high school. At just 14 years old, Kevin Sullivan became the youngest player to debut in Major League Soccer, signing with the Philadelphia Union in 2024. His homegrown deal came with an eye-watering clause, an automatic transfer to Manchester City when he turns 18. But this wasn't a fluke. Kevin's family has deep roots in the sport. His father, grandfather, and multiple siblings all played competitively. While most kids his age are worried about tests and curfews, he's balancing pro matches with middle school. Across the Atlantic, another generational talent is already rewriting international football. Lamine Yamal, Barcelona's teenage phenom, broke multiple records during Euro 2024, becoming Spain's youngest ever scorer and earning the Young Player of the Tournament award. At just 17, he's drawing comparisons to Lionel Messi, not just for his dribbling and vision, but for his composure under pressure. Barcelona has slapped a €1 billion release clause on him. And in his hometown of Rocafonda, kids now wear his number and mimic his every move on dusty concrete pitches. But this is just the beginning. Names like Franco Mastantuono in Argentina, Estevão Willian in Brazil, and Rodrigo Moura in Portugal are rising fast. They're part of a new generation of talent emerging from elite academies, La Masia, Palmeiras, Sporting CP, all groomed in systems that know exactly how to produce superstars. What makes this generation different isn't just raw talent, it's the structure around them. Global scouting networks now identify players at 11. Clubs invest in biometric data, mental health coaching, and social media training before players even turn pro. These kids are entering football not just as athletes, but as global brands. But with early exposure comes enormous pressure. Can they sustain it? Will they rise to the moment or burn out before their prime? Not every rising star is born into a famous name. Some athletes are rewriting the future of sports simply by showing up, working harder, and refusing to be ignored. Caitlin Clark is a prime example. She didn't come from a family of professional athletes, but her impact on women's basketball is undeniable. After dominating at Iowa, she was selected first overall in the 2024 WNBA draft by the Indiana Fever. She didn't just bring her game, she brought the world with her. Within months, league viewership spiked, arenas sold out, and the Indiana economy saw a $36 million boost in revenue. Clark didn't inherit a legacy, she created one. Track and field has its own breakthrough story. Quincy Wilson, a 16-year-old sprinter, stunned the world by breaking both indoor and outdoor U18 world records in the 400 meters. He made history as the youngest male track athlete to represent the U.S. at the 2024 Paris Olympics, and walked away with a gold medal in the relay. No famous surname, just exceptional talent and discipline. Across the globe, athletes like Elisa Valentin of Italy and J. Cody Jordan of the UK are emerging as sprinting prodigies, winning golds at U18 and U20 championships. In basketball, Dash Daniels' younger brother of NBA player Dyson Daniels recently signed a pro deal in Australia. Yet, even he's beginning to step out of the shadow, not as Dyson's brother, but as a defensive weapon in his own right. These stories prove that while legacy can be an advantage, it isn't a requirement. In today's landscape, driven by digital exposure, early scouting, and NIL opportunities, athletes from all backgrounds are finding their way to the top. But now it's your turn. Which rising star are you betting on? Drop a comment below. We're reading everyone. And if you want to keep up with the stories shaping the next generation of sports, hit that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next.